Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's October the 12th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day presented by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt, let me start off this morning with a little bit of, it's not the greatest news in the world, but it is reality for the program. It's something that we dove into a little bit and we report on this morning. And it's a good subject for us to discuss today on Good Morning CaneSport. And that is the pattern of losing streaks at the University of Miami for the past 11 years. And
11?
Huh?
Okay, we can start at 11.
Well, we'll focus on 11. But I mean, if you look back at the last 11 years, these losing streaks have become way too much the norm. Every single season since 2011, for example, Miami has had losing streaks of 3 or more consecutive losses 8 times in 11 years. This year, they're on a 3-game losing streak. They had a 3-game losing streak in 2019, a 4-game losing streak in 2018, a 3-game losing streak in 2017, a 4-game losing streak in 2016, a 4-game losing streak in 2014, a 3-game losing streak in 2013, and a 3-game losing streak in 2012. Okay? But 11 straight seasons, the Canes have had consecutive losses each year. Matt, it's not something you see a lot among top programs in college football, but it's a pattern that Miami must find a way to get out of one of these years, and they've fallen into it this year. Your thoughts?
So that's a story on our website this morning, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wrote that story is obviously a very negative person, real loser, has lots of personal problems. Who wrote that story, Gary?
I don't even know. Was it a Zuby?
I wrote the story.
I know.
I wrote the story. It was a
you did.
miserable story to write. It's funny. I knew, and you knew, this was not the first time Miami's had problems. I didn't know, if somebody had asked me before I actually researched this story, how many times, and I mentioned it yesterday on the show, but if somebody had asked me how many times in the last 11 years Miami had lost consecutive games in a season, I would have said maybe 7 or 8. I didn't realize it was all 11. I didn't realize how many of those years, I think it was 8, that they lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row. It's mind-boggling. I tell people all the time how I came to CaneSport as a very happy young lad in 2001. You were nice enough to fly me out to the Rose Bowl and make me bring you coffee and snacks at the game. And I thought it was going to be great from then on. And this is what you get after 20 years of failure. I was once a very happy young man. Now I'm a very miserable old man, like many Hurricanes fans that have been following the Hurricanes for the last 20 years, like I have. And this sort of encapsulates it. I mean, if you want to have a really depressing day and just reflect on the horror of what it means to be a Miami Hurricanes fan for the last 20 years, look at the story that some miserable SOB put on the website this morning, and you'll have your wish.
I think that everyone assumed that with Mario taking over and going into this season, that this pattern would have been erased. And I'm not sure anybody's figured out why the team didn't show up for the Middle Tennessee State game. I mean, I thought they were very competitive at Texas A&M, obviously very competitive against North Carolina, just lost close games. I still have not found anybody that can explain what happened in that Middle Tennessee State game. And, that is what is really polluting the environment of this season right now. And there's a lot of pressure on this team going into Blacksburg on Saturday. And they have to turn this cycle, or this thing can spiral out of control very, very quickly, Matt. And, so far they're doing a great job of holding recruiting together. And yes, mathematically, they're still in the Coastal. I mean, I don't think North Carolina's going to lose twice when I look at their schedule, but I guess you never know. And
they really have to lose 3 times, but okay.
Well, they'll lose twice if Miami somehow upsets Clemson.
That's what I mean. They probably have to lose 3 times.
I mean, you can't.
You're still living in your fantasy world from 2001.
No, I'm just not assuming. I'm not assuming anything right now. I'm not assuming anything. I don't think Clemson is so great. They're not. They're probably
their offense is better. They're averaging, I think, 38 points a game. Last year they were terrible comparatively. They are better than they. Look, I think they're better than they were last year as an overall team, personally, because I think their offense is a little better. I think their defense is really, really good. I think if there's going to be a surprise this season, it would be that Miami keeps that game close. I think that's manageable. I think Miami could potentially be within a 10-point difference in that game if they play really, really well.
By November, with another month of development and improvement.
Well, because they'll have Restrepo back, hypothetically. I think the defense is taking a while to gel. I think a lot of the problems, and I know Tyler Van Dyke, he throws off these just stupid comments. He said something about off-field issues contributing to the problems after the game, which nobody pressed him on because it's a sort of a ridiculous thing to say, and it's personal business, housekeeping, stuff that's supposed to stay inside the program. I don't know why Tyler always has these sort of mental farts when he's talking to the media. But notwithstanding that, aside from these off-field issues that he, for whatever reason, put out there in the metaverse, for those of you that believe in the metaverse, which I'm hoping exists because maybe in a different alternate reality, Miami's winning national championships every year like Alabama is. But regardless of the metaverse, I would say the problem for this team has been gelling, has been working together, has been communicating with each other on key plays. I mean, you see it so clearly. You mentioned yesterday, like, for instance, those 6 super explosive plays over the last 2 games. Well, I remember on one of them, I literally remember to Corey Couch turning his head towards Tyreek Stevenson and going like this, like, what are we doing? As the ball's being snapped. And that was a 70-whatever yard touchdown. And then obviously last game, which we've talked about ad nauseum, was the Tyreek not getting help over the top from Cam Kinchins for, I think, an eye violation, I believe is how one of the coaches termed it, which, I guess an eye violation for you or I, Gary, is if there's some very pretty young women walking around the beach and we're with our wives. That's an eye violation for us. For Miami, it's an 80-yard touchdown pass. So, there's a lot of problems. You can't just say it's one thing. But if you had to say it's one thing and pick one thing, I'm going with not gelling together. I'm going with not playing as a team because individually, I still think they're outstanding prospects, athletes, playmakers. But when you have that, which I think we do have, you could go through the roster list and people say, oh, these guys are terrible. Well, because they're not putting up big numbers. But individually, if you ask a bunch of SEC teams that are in the middle of the pack right now, these guys could transfer there and probably start next year. That's good enough to win the ACC Coastal and beat North Carolina. But as a unit, they aren't good enough. And you could say it's on coaching. Yeah, it's somewhat on coaching. But again, they sort of just got here, these coaches. Remember, 15 spring practices, 30 fall practices, 45 days with the team you're inheriting and trying to put all these transfer pieces together. It's difficult, man. Especially when you're installing a new system on offense, a new system on defense, constantly teaching, constantly trying to recruit, trying to get a plan together for turning the program around. The job is so massive that you really need 5 head coaches, which Mario Cristobal is probably 2.5 by himself, but he's not 5.
And include learning your personnel and how they respond under pressure.
Yeah, which you don't know, which they're finding out.
Yeah. So anyway, that story is on the website today. And you guys can, take a look at it and, reflect back if you dare on these past 11 years plus of this just incredibly disgusting pattern of losing that Miami just can't seem to shake yet. And hopefully it won't be too much longer before they do. And I do believe that they have the right person in charge to change that. I'm as shocked as anybody that it didn't happen this year. I'm sure he is too. But, hopefully as time goes by, things will get better. All right. We also have a story today on the website talking to Tyler Van Dyke, who talks about his resurgence in the North Carolina game the other day, and just kind of state of the offense going into Blacksburg. So I think you guys will enjoy that. A few more stories to talk about this morning, but first, let's hear from our friends at Life Wallet.
Hi, I'm Nigel Pack, and when I decided to come to Miami, I knew I had to pack, including my Life Wallet. But you know what else I'm going to pack this upcoming season? I'm going to pack the house. But today, I'm going to stand here and make another trade.
The feed to Pack. He throws another. Give it to him. His third from the corner pocket. When he was persistent, tackles for Nigel Pack again.
Never leave your home without your Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
The house, Matt. He's going to pack the house. How about that? And in honor of that, we have a story today about the two key transfers for Miami basketball, Nigel Pack and Orchad Omier, who are looking to have a really big impact on this team this year. And, you know, I'm hearing a lot of very confident vibes coming out of practice. And even Jim Larinaga, like very unusual. Like last year they went to the Elite Eight, and I remember opening up media day with a question to him about, you know, where I said I like his team and tried to get him to sort of go along with that and brag about his team and get people excited, and he wouldn't do it. You know, he didn't do it. This year, you don't even have to ask him. He's already bragging about his team. That tells you that they really like what they're seeing in practice, Matt. And I do think that they have, again, done a good job in pulling this team together. I mean, Pack is a proven scorer, and feeding off of Isaiah Wong, should be at least as good as he was last year at K-State. Wong having a shooting threat opposite him at guard like that, it should open up the floor for him and give him more room to roam. You look at Jordan Miller, the forward. Jim Larinaga will quietly tell you he thinks Jordan Miller can be an all-ACC player this year after, building off of what he did last year. Omier in the middle, not your traditional five, but from everything that we're hearing, an absolute beast on the boards inside. So this could really be another exciting season for Miami basketball, Matt. And I don't know about you, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know why we're talking about the men's basketball team. It's the women's basketball team that has people excited. Cavender twins, Katie Meyer was talking about how great the team's going to be. You know, in the past, Katie Meyer and Jim Larinaga, all they did was talk about how terrible the team's going to be, right, Gary? Isn't that what everyone does in the preseason? Say they're going to lose every game?
Down talk their
what
team,
are you talking about? Every coach is always positive in the preseason. No, did Jim Larinaga predict he's going to the Elite Eight last year? No. Did he say they're going to the Final Four this year? No. But people are asking him, literally, how you follow up an Elite Eight performance. What's he going to say? Well, we hope we'll be okay. We're going to try our best. No, I mean, if you're a coach, at the beginning of the season, you want your guys to be excited. You're going to say, yeah, of course, the goal is going to be, getting past what we did last year. So that's normal. I don't read into him. I didn't sense any more excitement from him than you get from an 80-year-old Gary Ferman either. I mean, this is how Jim Larinaga is. He's a nice guy. He's actually one of the few nice, quote-unquote, nice coaches that actually does pretty well. Usually nice coaches fare very poorly at any level. But, maybe there's a side to him I haven't seen. But he's one of those guys who's very affable, almost, like a father figure to a lot of these reporters even. And sometimes he explains stuff to you. I know some reporters complain because he explains stuff to you like you're a child, like you don't know basketball. But I find it endearing. I like the guy. I think he's excited about the year. He should be. I'm excited about the season, women's basketball season. The men's season, not so much. But we'll see what happens. It's starting when? A month from now. So I still got some time to figure it out.
All right. And we have a couple other stories today. We've got a couple recruiting stories. There's a Evergreen, Washington offensive lineman by the name of Fox Crater, What a name, man. And he describes the moments after receiving a Miami Hurricanes offer as one of the best feelings of his life. And Azubi Charles caught up with him, and so we've got a story on Fox Crater on the website this morning, and that'll be an interesting one to watch. We also have a story on the website with commitment Robert Stafford, who has been in the recruiting section for the last 2 losses to Middle Tennessee and North Carolina, and isn't really too rattled by what he's watched. He doesn't think it's going to take very long for the Canes to get back at all, and feels very strongly that his recruiting class will be a big part of that. And Matt, right now it looks like this recruiting class is holding together. Have you seen any signs of any cracks in the foundation?
No, the coaches are doing a great job keeping the class together. The key now, honestly, isn't just to keep them together, but to add some more pieces, because you really need it. You can see from the results on the field, from the play on the field, that they need more talent, period. So as things move forward, I expect them to get some more recruits on boards, potentially some big name recruits. NIL deals will help. But the thing with Stafford and these other guys, fans can say, oh, they're losing games, the class is going to fall apart. But if you're a high school recruit, a lot of times, if you know you're going to a good program, you like the coaches, you trust the coaches, all that means to you is I have a better chance to play early. So it doesn't really, it's a silver lining versus I don't know, whatever the opposite of silver is, versus a coal lining, I don't know. And they sort of balance out. You lose a game here or there, as long as you're not having fans go totally outrageous on the program and you're worried about your position coach being fired or something like that, then there's no reason for anybody to jump ship, and nobody is jumping ship. So Mario's doing a good job in recruiting. The kids, the prospects are staying in the class, and everything looks really good in recruiting. I have zero concerns about recruiting right now.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Good Morning CaneSport today. Short show, and we want to give you guys a chance. Those of you that didn't get a chance to watch CaneSport live last night, we've got the replay on the website. You can go back and check that out and see what all the opinions were. Later today, we will have Mario Cristobal talking again, and we'll have that on the website around midday. So make sure you tune in to CaneSport.com for that. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank you so much for starting your day off with us this morning. We'll see you again tomorrow, everybody.